Great Britain represents a highly catalogued island, where every single green hill supposedly hides a fully mapped traditional history. Well-funded academic experts have spent continuous centuries digging up the soil, firmly assuming no major historical anomalies could ever remain. Yet, deep beneath these peaceful golden fields and modern financial districts lies a dark timeline that completely shatters textbook history. Today, we unearth 8 real, heavily documented discoveries, proving British history is significantly longer and stranger than anyone admits. Striking forensic remnants pulled directly from the frozen mud force veteran university professors to permanently put down their pens in silence. The ground beneath our feet and the cold sea floor guard forbidden corporate secrets that mainstream science is still desperately trying to hide. Modern investigators analyzing these rugged landscapes frequently stumble upon physical evidence that completely defies modern archaeological physics. These massive stone monuments and lost chambers were likely constructed as cosmic locks, designed to seal away dangerous, primordial forces. Mainstream academic consensus cautiously attributes this to symbolic, ritualistic behavior, but independent researchers boldly claim it is active technology. Open your mind and remember that the ground beneath your feet is always keeping score through absolute, chilling silence. Between Britain and mainland Europe lies the treacherous North Sea, a gray, freezing abyss measuring an average depth of 90 meters. Commercial fishermen trawling these waters for a century frequently haul up ancient mammoth bones and deep rhinoceros teeth in heavy nets. Alongside prehistoric animal remains, deep-sea nets occasionally recover primitive flint tools and highly irregular, ancient human skeletal fragments. Advanced sonar profiling executed in the late 20th century officially confirmed a terrifying reality. A massive lost continent sits beneath waves. This prehistoric country was a highly fertile plain named Doggerland, stretching across an immense area, larger than the modern United Kingdom. Computerized relief reconstructions prove this territory boasted rich, resource-filled floodplains, deep oak forests, and marshlands packed with massive seafood supplies. For Mesolithic hunter-gatherers, this paradise represented the absolute ideal settlement, likely housing the densest population in all of prehistoric Europe. Around 8,000 years ago, rising global ocean temperatures caused this paradise to be completely swallowed within a few short generations. Some independent geological data suggests an immense submarine landslide near Norway triggered a catastrophic tsunami that drowned the plain instantly. The displaced human survivors fled toward higher ground, permanently abandoning their ancestral homeland to become the first prehistoric settlers of Britain. The people who tragically drowned inside Doggerland were the direct genetic ancestors of modern Britons and continental Europeans alive today. Their complex culture, their advanced survival knowledge, and their sacred generational stories all vanished completely beneath the deep, freezing water. Absolutely no written texts and no preserved artistic drawings survived the dark deluge, leaving science completely blind for thousands of years. The only physical remnants left behind are the silent mammoth bones, occasionally hauled up inside the modern commercial fishing nets. But in 2019, researchers recovered a highly unique human skull fragment from the North Sea floor, that changed everything forever. Forensic testing confirmed this precious bone fragment bore highly distinct, intentional traces of red ochre, a sacred prehistoric ritual pigment. This proves the lost people of Doggerland buried their dead with complex, highly structured spiritual обряды, utilizing a shared system of meaning. They possessed a rich spiritual life and a profound understanding of death, long before mainstream history assumed civilization even began. Yet, despite these incredible physical breakthroughs, modern academia knows absolutely nothing about the dark gods they worshipped inside the forest. Doggerland safely seals its terrifying drowned chronicle, a silent liquid grave that humanity is still forbidden to fully excavate. High in northern Scotland lie the bleak, wind-swept Orkney Islands, a desolate archipelago perched right at the edge of the inhabited world. In 1850, a monstrous winter storm violently stripped the grass off a coastal mound, unexpectedly exposing ancient stone walls. Local residents eagerly excavated the site, uncovering an incredibly preserved prehistoric village containing 8 interconnected, monolithic stone houses. Because the isolated islands almost completely lacked trees, everything inside this unique settlement was masterfully crafted entirely from solid stone. Amazed archaeologists documented stone beds, built-in cupboards, stone shelves, and central hearths, perfectly intact after thousands of dark years. Officially named Skara Brae, forensic carbon testing proved this spectacular village thrives at a staggering 5,000 years old. This means this coastal sanctuary is significantly older than the mysterious Stonehenge monument or the famous Great Pyramids of Egypt. Yet, after operating peacefully for several centuries, the entire population suddenly vanished, leaving all their precious belongings completely behind. Mainstream academic consensus cautiously attributes this to a sudden, catastrophic sandstorm. But independent investigators boldly claim it was panic. The residents fled their stone homes in extreme haste, leaving the empty village to be frozen inside a massive blanket of sand. A far more terrifying anomaly was intelligently unearthed nearby in 2002 when a local farmer accidentally struck a massive stone block. Hidden directly beneath his ordinary crop field lay a monumental prehistoric temple complex that changed British archaeology forever. Known officially as Structure 10, this cruciform monument features colossal stone blocks meticulously arranged into vast internal chambers and corridors. Excavators were deeply shaken to discover the entire megastructure was deliberately buried and packed with millions of tons of earth. Someone executed a massive, highly coordinated engineering project to camouflage this sacred sanctuary, making it look physically like a natural hill. Inside the dark chambers, researchers uncovered thousands of unique pottery fragments and slaughter remnants, proving massive prehistoric feasts occurred. Isotopic profiling proved these scale gatherings drew human travelers from hundreds of kilometers away, connecting the entire ancient British world. Then, this grand regional hub was closed permanently, neatly sealed away under a strict, unwritten generational covenant of absolute silence. Mainstream academic science cautiously attributes this to a final ritual of transition, but independent investigators boldly claim it seals a threat. Orkney safely guards its terrifying subterranean Stonehenge, an antediluvian lock, chiseled in rock, that humanity is still unable to fully decode. In 1954, during post-war reconstruction in London,
Yes, and it
Massive
lines up
excavators
perfectly
accidentally
with the
struck
previous grid.
ancient mud brick ruins deep beneath the ground. Rushing to the site, shocked archaeologists uncovered the Mithraeum, an ancient Roman temple hidden right beneath modern Walbrook Street. This subterranean structure sat inside the city, London's modern financial district, directly challenging the traditional historical timeline of the capital. Mithraism represents one of antiquity's most secretive cults, executing terrifying initiation rituals, exclusively inside dark, windowless, subterranean sanctuaries. For nearly 2,000 long years, mainstream academic science has failed completely to reconstruct what these believers truly worshipped. The mysterious cult operated on strict, unwritten generational covenants, ensuring their sacred, esoteric knowledge vanished entirely from history. But what lay buried beneath the temple floor delivered a monumental psychological shock to the entire global scientific community. Archaeologists unearthed magnificent marble heads of gods, featuring Apollo, Minerva, and Serapis, preserved flawlessly inside the dark mud. These spectacular sculptures were hidden systematically, deliberately chiseled away through public views to protect them from an impending historical apocalypse. The London Mithraeum safely guards its ancient ghosts, a silent pagan vault that humanity is still terrified to fully understand. Historical forensic data suggests these precious artifacts were hidden during the 4th century when early Christians actively destroyed all rival temples. Desperate priests buried their most sacred entities directly beneath the stone floorboards, successfully keeping the secret for 16 centuries. The keepers either perished inside the brutal religious purges, or the forbidden knowledge simply died out with the final initiate. Mainstream academic consensus cautiously attributes this to routine sacred decommissioning, but independent researchers boldly claim
Look at the
it was
carving on
panic.
this one.
In 2017, the monumental temple complex was reconstructed directly beneath a massive corporate office building owned by Bloomberg. Today, the ancient sanctuary receives modern human visitors, utilizing absolute minimum lighting to recreate the original atmospheric dread. People walk through the cold subterranean gallery corridors, completely unaware of the terrifying cosmic frequencies vibrating inside the rock. Modern electronic devices frequently malfunction inside the vault, proving an intense magnetic field radiates directly through the foundation walls. Humanity merely stares at the beautiful marble faces, completely blind to the primordial forces. These dark rooms, once physically contained. The Mithraeum seals its forbidden subterranean synthesis, a silent stone temple grid. Modern science is still terrified to fully activate. In 1984, commercial peat cutters working in Cheshire unexpectedly extracted a remarkably preserved prehistoric human head to the bog. Local police investigators immediately assumed the gruesome find was a recent murder, quickly launching a full forensic investigation inside the area. But advanced laboratory tests delivered a staggering shock, proving this mysterious peat-buried man lived exactly 2,000 years ago during Iron Age. Peat bogs function physically as a highly unique, oxygen-free natural tomb, permanently freezing organic human tissues inside acidic freezing water. Under these extreme, sterile environmental conditions, the man's dark skin, facial hair, and delicate fingernails remained flawlessly preserved through centuries. Scientists were deeply stunned to note his serene expression, displaying an unsettling, absolute psychological peace right before his violent execution. Intricate forensic gastrointestinal tracking revealed his final meal consisted entirely of a highly specific burnt bread mixture containing mistletoe chaff. Mistletoe was never utilized as ordinary daily food by Iron Age tribes, serving exclusively inside sacred, forbidden, druid ritualistic contexts. Furthermore, his meticulously manicured nails strongly indicated this elite individual never executed any brutal physical labor during his lifespan. This was absolutely no ordinary peasant or thief, but a powerful, high-status persona, chosen intentionally for a terrifying cosmic purpose. Detailed anatomical trauma analysis proved the Lindow Man was systematically executed, utilizing an incredibly brutal Celtic triple death ritual. First, the sacred victim was violently struck on the skull, twice with a heavy weapon, fracturing the solid bone completely. Then, an intricate cord made of animal sinew was tied tightly around his neck, systematically strangling him while fracturing his vertebrae. Finally, his jugular vein was cleanly sliced open, and his broken body was cast, face down, into the freezing bog water. This highly calculated sequence directly targeted three distinct natural elements: earth, air, and liquid, to completely satisfy different primordial entities. Classical Celtic texts record that the elite triple death represented the absolute highest honor a tribal leader could ever receive. He willingly accepted the brutal sacrifice, acting physically as a divine cosmic messenger between the human world and dark, invisible dimensions. Mainstream academic consensus cautiously attributes this to extreme tribal wartime punishment. But independent investigators boldly claim it seals a curse. The Lindow Man knew his horrific fate perfectly, staying completely complicit with the priests to protect his community to an impending apocalypse. The Cheshire Bog safely guards its terrifying flesh archive, a silent biological lock that modern humanity is still forbidden to break. In 1971, marine historians accurately pinpointed the exact location, where a grand royal flagship tragically capsized and sank. This was the Mary Rose, King Henry VIII's supreme military warship, which carried hundreds of elite soldiers to early graves. Salvage teams raised the giant wooden hull from the muddy ocean floor in 1982, after 4 long centuries of silence. The spectacular wreckage represented an uncorrupted time capsule, preserving the entire physical interior world of the medieval English Navy. Due to the oxygen-free, sterile environment of deep mud layers, fragile organic remnants survived flawlessly without any rot. Inside the dark cabins, divers documented personal belongings, including unique medical instruments, pocket sundials, and even primitive musical drums. But what truly paralyzed the entire global scientific community was the discovery of an enormous cache of longbows. Ordnance experts pulled 137 solid English longbows, completely intact, from the suffocating dark mudbed. Before this monumental physical breakthrough, global historical museums possessed absolutely no complete samples of this legendary weapon. The Mary Rose safely seals its terrifying naval database, a silent liquid lock that humanity is finally allowed to examine. When modern archers attempted to pull these recovered longbows, they discovered the draw weight exceeded a staggering 80 kilograms. This physical force is roughly double what a highly trained contemporary athlete can successfully manage without tearing muscle tissue. Shocking forensic analysis of the recovered archer skeletons revealed profound, highly regular anatomical deformations inside the bone layers. The left arm bones were significantly thicker, display massive bone growths, while the spine suffered extreme asymmetrical warping. These striking physical anomalies were the direct structural result of strict, lifelong training regimes enforced from early childhood. The human body was physically rewired, remolded entirely like soft wax, just to master the immense power of the longbow. Mainstream historical books described medieval longbowmen in text, but the Mary Rose exposed their heavily mutated physical realities to science. These elite naval soldiers were literally biomechanical war machines, possessing physical structures that completely bypass modern evolutionary models. They dedicated their entire physical existence to a weapon, becoming organic remnants of a brutal martial dynasty, forgotten by time. The Solent mud safely guards its terrifying biological secrets, a silent grave modern humanity is still unable to fully comprehend. In 2004, highway construction workers in Dorset unexpectedly uncovered a terrifying prehistoric mass grave holding 54 skeletal remains. Forensic investigators were deeply horrified to note that every single human skeleton was completely lacking its original physical skull. The missing skulls were found nearby, systematically stacked together, in a neat, highly deliberate separate pile across the pit. Advanced radiocarbon testing dates the execution between 970 and 1025 AD, placing it directly inside the brutal Viking Age. Detailed trauma analysis confirmed these men were brutally executed from the front by professional blades striking their bare necks. This was an unrecorded, clean slaughter, a calculated mass execution designed to eliminate an entire heavily armed foreign threat instantly. Mainstream academic consensus initially assumed this decapitated convoy represented a captured raiding party of elite Scandinavian raiders. Subsequent chemical analysis of the teeth delivered another monumental shock, completely shattering everything historians previously dogmatized about them. Isotopic profiling proved these men grew up inside the freezing Arctic sub-zero temperatures of northern Norway or the remote wastes of Iceland. The Dorset grave safely locks away its terrifying execution database, a silent biological pit that humanity is still unable to decode. While the vast majority grew up in Scandinavia, advanced isotope tests revealed a much darker and highly anomalous detail. Several headless skeletons inside the mass execution pit legally belonged entirely to local native men, born right inside Britain. These native individuals had deliberately abandoned their communities to actively join the hostile Scandinavian convoy as sworn brothers in arms. They crossed the invisible boundaries of blood and land, choosing to completely merge with an invading foreign army against their own homeland. Consequently, when the Anglo-Saxon authorities finally captured the raiders, these British traitors were shown absolutely no local mercy. They were systematically butchered alongside the invaders, chiseled cleanly out of existence, and cast face down into the exact same pit. The presence of local rebels inside the Viking ranks exposes an unwritten generational covenant of absolute treason, buried for a millennium. Mainstream historical books describe this bloody era as a simple, clean war between nations. But these bones expose a chaotic civil war. These 54 skeletons in the Dorset field tell a secret that absolutely no contemporary medieval chronicle ever dared to write down. The earth of Dorset safely seals this forbidden political synthesis. A silent hybrid grave humanity is still terrified to fully investigate. A few kilometers away that the legendary Stonehenge, inside the windy fields of Wiltshire, lies an incredibly mysterious, prehistoric earthen enclosure. Known to elite archaeologists as Windmill Hill, excavators in the 1920s uncovered a colossal system of 3 massive concentric ditches. These massive prehistoric earthworks were deliberately broken by numerous narrow segment causeways, completely violating traditional military defense logic. This was absolutely no strategic mountain fortress designed to forcefully repel invaders, but a highly unique regional magnet of gravitation. Mainstream academic consensus initially classified the site as a basic prehistoric cattle corral, but modern forensic data shattered that theory. Deep within the segmented ditches, researchers discovered thousands of animal bones deliberately arranged in highly non-accidental ritualistic patterns. Beside the bones lay unburied human remains, left to rest openly inside the mud, under the hostile, unfamiliar Neolithic sky. Forensic radiocarbon metrics proved this massive site was actively utilized for centuries, long before the very first stone of Stonehenge was raised. Windmill Hill represents the absolute beginning, representing the precise structural tradition from which all subsequent Kutak monuments eventually evolved.
Forward!
The Wiltshire soil safely guards this magnetic cradle, a silent earthen lock that humanity is still terrified to fully decode.
We're almost there.
Subsequent advanced isotope profiling of the excavated bones delivered another monumental shock, exposing the staggering scale of prehistoric connectivity. Chemical analysis of the cattle teeth proved these animals did not grow up inside the local, chalky pastures of Wiltshire. Instead, a large majority of the livestock was raised hundreds of kilometers away in the rugged volcanic terrains of Wales and Scotland. Prehistoric human travelers migrated across entire Britain, purposefully driving their cattle over treacherous miles just to sacrifice them upon this sacred hill. They deliberately brought their wealth from remote regions to participate in colossal, highly organized ceremonial feasts that bound separate clans together. This was absolutely no primitive, isolated society, but a highly sophisticated, unified Neolithic ecosystem with central laws and unwritten covenants. Intriguingly, the entire hill sits in perfect direct visibility of the sacred Stonehenge monument, standing grandly on the horizon line. The elite master builders of Stonehenge definitely knew this site, likely growing up directly within its ancient, powerful, ritualistic traditions. What we look at as the dawn of history was merely the final stage of a dark, spiritual evolution begun centuries earlier. Windmill Hill safely guards its terrifying Neolithic database, a cosmic gate written in earth that humanity is still forbidden to read. In 1992, a local farmer named Peter Watling lost his ordinary metal hammer inside an open field in Suffolk. He immediately asked his close neighbor to walk across the area, utilizing a basic, consumer-grade, handheld metal detector. Instead of locating the missing hammer, they accidentally unearthed the largest hoard of late Roman gold and silver ever discovered. The spectacular find contained 15,000 individual coins, alongside solid gold bracelets, heavy necklaces, and pure silver spoons. Weighing a staggering 60 kilograms of pure precious metals, this immense wealth was meticulously packed inside nested wooden chests. Forensic carbon metrics proved the massive treasure hoard was buried precisely around 407 or 408 AD. This precise date marks the terrifying historical moment when the Western Roman Empire permanently recalled its elite Iron Legions from Britain. The protective imperial frontier completely collapsed, leaving wealthy local Romano-British landowners entirely vulnerable to brutal Saxon invasions. Facing an impending societal apocalypse, one elite family gathered all their physical fortune, locking it underground before fleeing in panic. The Suffolk field safely guards this dark imperial bankruptcy, a silent silver tomb. Humanity is still terrified to fully decode. What makes the Hoxne Hoard uniquely terrifying is not its staggering financial scale, but the deeply intimate, human details left behind. On several pure silver spoons, researchers discovered beautiful, intricate engravings, explicitly displaying individual, historical female names. The most prominent names carved into the metal were Aurelia Tamasia and Julianne, women of immense high-status nobility. These were absolutely no abstract imperial coins paid to mercenaries, but the deeply cherished personal heirlooms of real human beings. We hold their silver utensils, we know their exact names, yet we possess absolutely no records of what historically happened to them. Did they successfully board the final retreating ships to Rome, or were they brutally slaughtered inside their grand country villas? The treasure was never retrieved, suggesting the keepers perished instantly, taking the secret of the location directly to early graves. Mainstream historical books describe the end of Roman Britain as a peaceful political transition, but this hoard exposes total societal panic. Today, Julianne's personal silver spoons rest inside the British Museum, clean and flawless, as if patiently waiting for her to return. Hoxne safely seals its forbidden post-imperial synthesis, a silent silver lock chiseled in metal. Humanity is still forbidden to read. 8 terrifying structural anomalies, 8 massive, violent rewrites to everything we previously assumed was set in stone about British history. The modern world is slowly realizing that our ancient ancestors were far more advanced, dangerous, and organized than textbooks dare to admit. The Earth isn't changing its dark history. We are simply, finally, learning how to read its most terrifying cosmic warnings. And judging by the incredible secrets pulled from the dirt this year, we are only just scratching the freezing surface. Which of these 8 ancient forbidden discoveries do you honestly believe poses the most dangerous question to our current timeline? Drop your fascinating out-of-the-box theories in the comment section below and let us know what you believe is still hiding out there. Make sure to subscribe to Remnants of Time right now so you never miss another dark, highly classified historical documentary. Hit the notification bell to join our elite circle of global investigators before the algorithms bury these dangerous truths forever. Thank you for watching. Stay vigilant, keep questioning, and we will see you all in the next deep, silent void. Until then, remember that the ground beneath your feet is always keeping score. Sleep well, knowing the past is actively watching.